No fewer than 15 Catholic parishes in Benue State have been shut down following continued attacks by suspected armed headers, displacing entire host communities and forcing priests and parishioners to flee. Chairman of the Nigerian Catholic Diocesan Priests Association (NCDPA) Makurdi Diocese, Reverend Father Joseph Beba, made the disclosure on Sunday during a press briefing at the Catholic Cathedral, Makurdi. Father Beba listed affected areas as Stace Oriam, Ahume, Jimba, Nagi Camp, Andoana, Yelewata, and Agbegana, stating that over 50 residents, including women and children, were killed in coordinated assaults in the past fortnight. These are not isolated incidents. They intensified following Bishop Wilfred Anagbe's testimony in the US and Europe on the persecution of Christians. The church is under siege, he said. He accused the military of inaction, citing the May 24th attack on Reverend Father Solomon Atongo at Seis Oriam, just 500 meters from an army checkpoint with no intervention. Father Beba called on President Bola Tinubu and Governor Haynes earlier to declare war on the armed headers. He recalled that Governor Alia had earlier identified the attackers as foreign nationals. He urged community vigilance. The right to self-defense is inalienable. He called on our young people. We call on our young people to be ready to defend their faith, their farmlands, and their way of life. The church warned that continued silence and inaction could embolden aggressors and worsen the humanitarian crisis already engulfing rural communities in Benue. Now, we're just, living in those states where they have declared that there would be no more beef till a change comes as regards their farmlands, as regards safety in their communities. But now the Catholic Church has decided to close down parishes. What are your thoughts on this report?
It's terrible. Still points to what I said earlier, still the same set of people, and the Benue people has also cried out long that what is happening in their land is
now,
genocide.
you said something, when you define genocide, you talked about, against people that they don't share a definite standpoint view.
Just for identity
Just
sake.
for identity
You have a
sake.
different identity.
Now,
from
do you think, from the, let's say from the Edo angle, Edo people are rarely ever headers. Now, most people that are headers of cattle are usually from, from the north, from the Fulani area and all of those. But for this is Benue. Some of them are equally, Hausa to some degree.
No, that's not completely true.
Okay.
You see, the thing is that Benue
is middle belt.
A part of northern Nigeria,
right?
But it's middle belt. But they are never ethnically Hausa.
But it's mixed.
They they have their own tribes. They have the Tiv, the Juku, the tribes around there that around middle belt area, just like the Plateau. In fact, you have more of the Hausas in Plateau. But if you go back their history, it's called that even the Hausas that settled there are not indigenous people to Plateau. They have lived there over the years. But you see, it doesn't take away the fact that, you see, the genocide is still committed by the same people. And the only reason these things happen is also, like I said, identity. These people are different from, it's still the same.
So you think do you think this stems from a cultural identity or a religious identity? Because when the Reverend Father Beba was saying that it got worsened after it was highlighted abroad that Christians were being killed.
You see, the thing with those who commit genocide is this: once they identify that differential in identity, whether that identical differential is ethnic, religious, or something, it's a we against them situation.
Okay.
You are XYZ, I am MBA, so you're different from me. That your XYZ could be religion, it could be cultural, it could, it could be anything, but they just understand that, these people are different from us, we against them, so you go against them. And this has continued everything. When I read this story, when I heard this story of the Benue, and with even the name of the governor mentioned, Reverend Father Hyacinth earlier, it came to mind. What came to mind is the falsehood that has pervaded the Nigerian political space over the years. This feeling of our own thief is better than their own thief. Let us have our own person. You see, good governance most of the time may not be guaranteed by our own person. Much as I agree, with the federal character thing and people wanting to have their own people having a fair share, as it were, but your safety, your wealth, your well-being may not necessarily be guaranteed because the guy in government house is from your side of the divide. What guarantees your well-being is the thinking of the guy in government house. Now, what I've said does not in any way contradict people's quest for, equality and equity in, all the calls for rotational presidency or governors. But what I'm saying is this: unfortunately, Governor Leah is a Catholic. Now, I wonder if he still lay claim to that. But I know she's a Catholic priest. Benue is predominantly a Catholic state. Yet, under his watch, these things has been happening. And he has really not done much. Rather, there have been cases where he's known to have played politics with it, And, now, under his watch, 15 parishes have been closed. And see the reason they gave that those places have been. The word the guy used, he said, I think he said systemic or something, coordinated. It wasn't a haphazard thing. It's a planned attack that has been happening. And some time ago, all the governor could do is give, an annoying excuse, a self-indicting excuse that, these people are not Nigerians, they are foreigners. That they are foreigners is even more indicting to the government, because the government, maybe not the state government now, but the government has incidental, he's a member of the APC, so they are the center. The government is responsible for border security. So where is the government agency, the custom, the immigration that patrol the border, that people infiltrated? And Benue is not a border town. Foreigners infiltrated Nigeria and moved all the way, maybe from Bronu, which is a border town, maybe all the way from Kebbi, Katsina, those border towns, and marched all the way to Benue to commit this type of killing. Like Guy said, for fortnightly, that's for 2 weeks. And I don't know when he started counting his fortnight, but for all we know, this has been happening in Benue for years. And you mean people infiltrated from outside the country and come? How do they go back immediately? Where are our security agencies? It begs the question. It raises more questions than are answered. So this is why, like the Edo story, I agree with them. Whatever action they can take to make their voice heard, it should be done. At least they have not done anything criminal. They only say, we are rejecting beef meat. I wish other people can even, make a statement. Just let these people make a statement.
But closing down these churches where the worshippers now worship, what would Jesus do? Does it come to mind when you think about this report?
Yes, it comes to mind. But look at what he said. He said the communities don't exist again. Probably the people there are all in IDP. So you probably have to take the church to their IDP camps. If they are still,
the disturbing part is how
I agree with the touching question you raise. Hypothetical, those sound, would this be what Jesus wants? I don't think so. But I don't think also he would. I mean, the church is the people, not an empty hall. So if the people are no longer there, it's sad to close it down. But the people are not there. The people are on the run. The people have left their homestead. The place is empty. It's a desolated place. So who are you going to hold mass with?
Thank you so much for your insight.